Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Gary Grigsby's War in the East with what I kind of do hope to be the final episode. We did talk about how Astrakhan is kind of going to be empty and we're, well, supposedly we're supposed to have one here, but we only have to deal with a slight amount of resistance that's left. And just gonna have to see how it goes. So the AI seems to be having some new forces around there, which are making it a bit harder for me to work in that area down here at Stalingrad. I actually think basically I want to get some of these units. There's not even all that much in the middle. And it seems like there's something there too. Just a few nuisances. I want to make sure that whatever the Soviets still have, that I can work my way around everything here. That's not going to be easy with this here smaller pocket. I mean, I can re-encircle all of this. That's not the thing. Well, maybe that in itself is already worth it, so just moving around like that, cutting these guys off once more, and working with that. So they got some Guards Cavalry Corps and a Mechanized Corps there. The thing is, I kind of need to get some good moving units here. Let's actually continue here for a bit. So I'll have these guys deal with that pocket while I'll have the rest of 4th Army also try to deal with it from this side. These guys would need to go back in that direction again. Not sure what this is. I'll just cut it off for now. We do need to deal with those tanks, though. Although, it's probably a bit overkill at this point. Let's go there. You can stay in Ryazan. As I said, I have these forces that are going to deal with the pocket. So let's take out that depot. I don't like the AI having depots. They'll probably have that one. Yeah, let's move in there. Eh. Why not? Doesn't really matter, but I want to take the depots that they have left, really. I actually need to move these guys to Mozhaisk. They're really weak. Attacking this at this point is no use. I will, however, go and take those hexes. I'm also inclined to try this. No. Alright, never mind that. These two are doing fine, though. They're both part of this core here. I'm gonna let them charge through this area too. So they can do some serious fighting in the city. Taking care of those and that, of that, of the Guards Rifle Corps. 134, that has to be pretty crazy. It's hard to say how many Soviets are encircled now, though. But it's probably prudent to take a little step back. If they put more forces again in here, that can become a problem. Especially with the AI potentially attacking my Hungarian forces. Everything here is just such a mess. Alright, let's move up as much as possible. And use the 309th too. I'm actually gonna attack here. They lost quite a bit. Let's get this tank corps too. And you in there. Attack them. Okay. This would have them encircled for a second turn. And this double cuts off these, also puts a zone of control on them, making it harder. More tanks, huh? They still seem to be having a lot of those. Total of Vs for the Soviets, it's actually going up. They have more tanks now. I mean, their total number of men is down so much that I don't know how much it matters. I mean, they might be able to make more mechanized forces and stuff. So, it could be that, but depending on how many Soviet forces are encircled, I would say that they might not have the strength to really put a whole lot of units out there like that. Well, I don't think either of those can actually deal with these guys. I do think, though, that you can go here. And go back. You cannot move, right? No. Nice. Poshnikov. Really? At this rate, they won't have any generals left by the end of the game here. That'd be pretty funny. One thing that's not funny, it's the most likely absolutely horrendous supply situation for any of my units anywhere down here. There'll also only be a single rail line going down there. But I actually feel like I should be moving back there. And here. I don't know how they got that 42nd Rifle Corps, but depending on the amount of units that they'll have, things will get tricky anyway. Let's quickly go over all of these. actually take 4. But I don't really have any interest in taking out the Rhodos Storm Brigade. Italy has an excess of forces. It's fine. Africa's doing fine. The garrison isn't. Now I'm supposed to send quite a few Stuck batteries over to the map. And howitzers too. Even though I think their contribution by now will be trivial. Wow. Look at all this territory that I've taken. Damn. Alright. And then Western Europe is actually fine, even with air. It is doing quite nicely. You even have technically 13. To take out. And but I'll start with all the artillery here. Because I can send that artillery over to Leningrad. That's just 10. Finland's doing alright, Norway's doing alright. Let's go. Currently it seems like they even still have planes in Leningrad. I would find that a bit weird. If I can actually take that airfield at least, that would probably help with the city itself. Thing is, though, it'll be hard to take with the mud. Wow, that's a lot of units in building. Like, now they have supplies there again. That's so weird. I don't think they used to. Maybe I'm just wrong? Not sure. We'll see, though. That's a hefty attack that they can still put up there. One thing that's pretty interesting to look at is the total amount of supplies that they have there as well. Because this is the second week that Moscow is encircled, so the more they continue to fight, the yeah, they already get minus 30 there. That was the first attack. Sure, they'll be having more, even if only a few. With less Soviet forces around, I have less forces to encircle as well. But it's hard to say how many forces they actually have. It seems like the way the game works is that the AI constantly has these units that are being built, but they're not actually units that can attack, and they have a chance of putting them somewhere, or they're just not using them. They might be too weak, or like in training. Not here though. Over 100,000 forces again. I have to say that the Soviets do impress me with their ability to put huge numbers onto the battlefield. Interesting attacks. Didn't do much for them there. At least these guys are all done for. That was pretty predictable. Well, they can keep pumping core type units apparently. Certainly creates issues. Yeah. Yeah, okay, they broke out. I guess I'll have to move these guys a bit further. I don't think they'll probably not have crossed the Volga. So there is that. Again, a lot of core type units just straight up trapped because they don't have any supplies, etc. in that area. The Romanians did very well in that regard. They single-handedly, the Romanians got to Astrakhan. Like, oh wow, supplying there, huh? Yeah, okay. Fair enough. From? Where is this? Up there. Falsataya. Seems like I'll have to make sure that that doesn't happen. Falsataya is pretty far. If I can at least get there and to Murom, that will prevent them from getting there. Anyway, I'll be back once this is loaded and stuff. Ah, there we are. So 1st of April. I guess then indeed we will have failed the check. We have an excess garrison in the west. Let's see whether that's the case. Total men for the site is still going down, so that's okay. Initiative, high watermark. Yeah, needs to be 800 now. Alright, sweet. Let's just go through that airface like it's a supply phase, like candy. I don't know. Lots of Soviet sorties. Once more, let's actually see how many boots they have on the ground. It cannot be all that much more than I do. Right, I think so. Kotelnikovo. Huh. I don't think so. No, it's no 300,000 difference. Alright. Let's get started here once again. It'll be tricky getting these guys, obviously, but it'll be fine. If I move them back up now, they can... These two can effectively go through everything there. Alright, I'm missing one in Sukumi, but I suppose I'll be able to deal with it in due time. The another interesting thing here is that there's a lot of territory down here. Well, I cannot actually go through these hexes, but moving on to Yerevan. Volkov front. I don't think this is Volkov here. This is probably going to take a while. Again, we'll get there eventually. I still want to use these Romanians to clear out the remainder of this here territory. Definitely together with the Arab Special Purpose Battalion. But then indeed afterwards those guys will be moving up. Terrain there is again exceptionally bad. Sweet. So no, it's not to Batumi. Or to Baku. First Panzer Army getting into Grozny itself, and just straight up moving the rest of these guys forward. Let's see how far this thing can get. The one thing that's a bit unfortunate is that I actually need to get down here into Grozny and then move up again, but because the rail into Grozny is actually coming from down here and not from up there. But I did build the depot there, so I kind of want to do that anyway. Right, well, that's fine. And then of course they're not gonna make it ultimately. What? Oh, you're unready. Oh, well. In that case, I'll need to get them back to a depot. These guys are also unready. A lot of these guys here are actually unready. It's a bit of a problem. Second week that's not working. But I did clear those. And let's move these guys over to that region too after dealing with this. Hopefully I don't need to move up with them. Let's see what they have here. Sweet, so clear those. Take Astrakhan. Now if, yeah, okay, so let's actually move up because I do need to re-encircle whatever forces they have there again, and you can move in there, so that's actually fine enough. We know that they haven't actually crossed the Volga. So that's good. This is all looking very weird still, but I can actually make a smaller encirclement here now to create more of an encirclement there. But let's go to Leningrad first. Let's get as many support units as I can get here. I didn't do particularly well even, but I did get it. It means I'll now be looking to focus on this part of Leningrad, the northern part. The one thing I can do is move them in there. Okay, I actually expected that to work. Guess I was wrong. Holy smokes. I did not expect units up there. Well, let's get the a depot there at least. Now, I do have to say, wow, I only need one unit to go through here. In fact, I'd rather just have these guys through all of this stuff as fast as possible. Which is tough enough as it is. Okay. Let's see. Because I can actually attack and then move back. Huh. Wow. Okay. The enemy seems to be substantially stronger in this area than I would have expected. Anyway. Even now. Let's attack these. Jeez. These guys are tough clients. Okay. Did already say that I was not particularly pleased with them flying stuff into Moscow, so I want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And by capturing those airfields, it makes it again tougher for the AI. to do that. Oh man, I just... fuck that. That was really dumb. That held, interestingly enough. There aren't even many forces in there. There's 4,000. It's probably like the bare minimum as to when their units can still operate. Always interesting when they get more core type units like that. I wouldn't have imagined they'd be able to pull that off. This also held. Didn't think they could do it, and indeed they couldn't. Tend to have a pretty good feel for stuff like that. So this is like 840. Makes no sense. Really? Wow. They seem to have abandoned a whole lot of territory in that area. One thing I am, again, interested in, though, is trying to take as many hexes as possible. But these guys will probably rout, given the situation here. What to do. I mean, how likely is it going to be that I can get those panzers up to Kazan and Kuibyshev? I'm not putting too much hope onto it. At least now I can get some units into the center there. can I... Because then they move in there and then the thing routes. It's, you know... Weird. Okay. I'm still gonna attack here like that though. Just giving them less hexes to operate with. Nope. I wonder if I get that hex. I did not. Ah, they have some serious stacks in there. Interesting. Also that they have a mechanized force there. How did they get that? But it could pose some serious problems. Like, I would not expect them to be able to get any units over around here due to supplies. Yeah, so despite being able to cut off these guys again... Let's start with this. And just actually put some frontage in there. Because it would be a bit of a problem if I couldn't. With a bit, I mean a serious problem. I do think, though, that I'm actually going to cut it short here. Yes, I will. How many points is this? 64 points. So, interestingly, if we take a look at the maximum amount of points you can get, I'm at 820 now. So it's 884. 920. 988. Yeah, you can get over 1,000 points. Alright, well, I'm gonna wrap things up here. Like I said, I had kind of hoped to finish it here, but that's not gonna happen. Obviously. They have an artillery unit. They do... There are 3.5 million men now. It is interesting to see, though, how things are progressing around Moscow itself. I find. How strong is that? Not very strong. Okay, so at least we got the 1st Guards Rocket Launcher Division as well. And everything here is now divided up into smaller pockets. If I can break these guys off from Moscow itself, that will help too. I can contain this pocket or these units here by just staying here. But let's actually squeeze them off too. Yeah, I'll go here. Sure. Can't attack that 6 Guards Cavalry, but I can deal with it later. Alright. Once again, I'm gonna end the video. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.